show. Ben Affleck and T.J. O'Rourke are here, and a little later I'll be talking with Congressman Ron Paul. But first, he is the Oscar-winning director and the most successful documentary filmmaker in history. His latest is Sicko, appearing in his first live interview in 2.5 years, my friend Michael Moore. Michael. Hey. Okay, well, I guess they remember who you are, Mike. So,
thank you for that.
I have to tell you, I watched your film this afternoon in my office, and I think the most overused word in America is amazing. Everything in this country is amazing. But this film is amazing. I have to join the crowd on this one. It's real. I think it is your best yet. It's funny. It's important. It gets at something which I think is, I know when you were making this, you told me is so important to you. Even Fox News said it was brilliant and uplifting. Now, Mike, the right wing still hates you, don't they?
Yeah, I haven't quite recovered from that comment yet from Fox News.
How did you win over Fox News?
You know, it premiered in Cannes this past week, and there were a lot of Americans in the audience. And in fact, afterwards, a couple of Republicans came up to me and shook my hand and thanked me for making the film. And one of them started tearing up, and I thought, geez, I've made a film that that some of them I think will listen to, and I was very pleased to see that happen.
And I think maybe what it is that this is not just a film, it's not primarily a film about the 50 million people who have no health insurance. It's really more about the people who have health insurance and think they're covered and then find out when they get sick that they're screwed, right?
That's right. It's about how the health insurance industry essentially is running a racket. And because they have to maximize profits for their shareholders, the only way that they can do that is by screwing their clients, trying to deny them coverage, kicking them off the rolls, not paying doctors claims that are sent in. I mean, a whole bunch of things that they do that make life miserable for so many people. And between them and the pharmaceutical companies who are just ripping everybody off right and left, these two industries are essentially the vehicle in this film that I use to tell maybe a larger story about who we are as Americans and why are we the only Western industrialized country that doesn't have free universal health coverage. It's absolutely insane, I think.
And you... And I think the difference between this movie and Fahrenheit 9/11 is that, in a way, you could say Fahrenheit 9/11, you know, didn't do what it wanted to do because Bush got reelected. But I think this movie will rally people to this cause. I think this cause needs just this one thing to push it over the edge. And they say prophets sometimes aren't heard in their lifetime, but I think on this one you might be.
Well. It's, I know it's kind of a rough go for me, basically. Usually when I make a movie, I made one about General Motors about 17 years ago, and that film said that, but it took 17 years, and at the time, you know, people didn't listen and thought, how could you attack General Motors? They can do no wrong. And then, you know, I made Bowling for Columbine and tried to warn people about the easy access to guns and school shootings. Well, thank you for that. But here we just suffered through another tragic school shooting. And then, of course, Fahrenheit, where I went out on a limb and suggested that maybe we were sent to war for false reasons. And at the time, took a lot for that, too. A lot of grief for that film. And so I'm hoping with this movie that maybe I can catch a break and people will not just leap on me so quickly and say, you know, well, maybe we should at least listen to him this time. And I think just from the few screenings that we've had, I can tell that the audiences understand one basic thing, that illness and sickness doesn't know any kind of political stripe. This affects Democrats and Republicans, and we've got a huge greedy industry in this country, and there should be no room for greed when we're talking about people's health, and that has to be removed, and we've got to get rid of these profit-making insurance companies.
I mean, I agree with all that, but it also has to be said that, at least in my view, the human body is pretty amazing. It doesn't get sick, usually for no reason. I mean, there's some genetic stuff that can get to you, but basically people are sick in this country because they're poisoned. The environment is a poisoning factor. But also, we got to say, they poison themselves. They eat shit.
Right.
People eat shit,
right.
and that's, to my way of thinking, about 90% of why people are sick is because they eat shit.
Right. Well,
would you agree?
That's right. Not 90%, but I would say that people who are certainly young, or young adults, or even middle-aged people, if they took better care of themselves, I mean, you're looking at somebody right now that, while I was making this film, actually, I said to myself, you know, this is kind of hypocritical. You're making a movie about health care, and you're not even taking care of your own health.
You look a lot thinner. I thought that was Ben Affleck.
Oh, man, poor Ben. No, but, well, what I did was I said, you know, I'm going to participate. And I mean, this isn't in the movie, but I guess you see it in the movie because I'm a little different, because I decided one way to beat the system is take care of yourself. And I found that just by going for a walk 30 minutes a day, and I discovered these things called fruits and vegetables, which are amazing. But it's not, you don't have to do a lot. And I would say this to guys like me from the Midwest, you know, we're never going to go on a diet or join an aerobics class or whatever, but if you just moved around a little bit, turned the TV off, and ate a few things differently, you could avoid the nightmare that awaits so many people when you enter the healthcare system in this country. It's, I mean, as you pointed out a couple weeks ago, we're behind Costa Rica in healthcare. We're just ahead of Slovenia, and that should be an embarrassment to most Americans.
All right, final question. I know you follow the race very carefully. Do you have a candidate picked out for 2008?
No, I don't. But I would say that there is someone who isn't running yet. Someone who's been
Mike,
right
I'm not
about.
going to do it. I'm sorry. I smoke too much dope. I could never get elected.
I know.
But thank you. Thank you very much.
And you also don't have a Tennessee accent. And I'm not referring
I
to Fred
see
Thompson.
what you're saying. Al Gore. Well, we're going to talk about him. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I really hope he gets into this race because not only because he's been right about global warming, he's been right about the healthcare issues. He was right about the war in Iraq. Before it began, he was out there on the limb saying those things that the other candidates now are trying to catch up to. But I also think the country maybe would like perhaps a moment of redemption to right the wrong that happened 6 years ago. And I can't think of a better way.
All right. Michael, I know you had a lot of choices to do your first interview after 2.5 years. I really appreciate that you chose us. I think that makes quite a statement. You are a true...
And thank you, Bill. Thank you for your show and what you've done. And you've got us all thinking about the bees.
But you are a true tribune of the people, and we love you. Michael Moore, everybody.
Thank you.